than we've seen as well. 11. The one behind's covered up, so I'm going to drop back to 13. That is Opportunity Knox. Now, does it for a 12-race maiden who's racing from a few pounds wrong. Treat Piece has gone for the first time, and if Opportunity Knox, it's going to be a huge price winner were that to happen. It's a leap of faith running at half a mile further than he's ever done before. Grand Duchess Olga next, who Dylan Hogan said earlier in the interview with myself after a winner, said that he'll probably ride her near the speed. He said even though it's a mile 6 race, he doesn't want her braking too slowly. She was off the mark at the 8th attempt last time over course and distance. She's worthwhile of another run here, to say the least. Building on a very promising run here the time before. The Cheap Piece has been a good addition. She hasn't had too much of a hike in the ratings either, up a couple of pounds for a next second and a win by a head. And I think last time she did really well to reel in and grab Greek Giant. Grabbed him by a narrow margin. Still a lightly raced filly. And Dylan Hogan, who's had a winner, spoke very confidently, I think, about her chances today. And as well he might. He knows that she's got talent around here. So that's Grand Duchess Olga. Who's behind? It's just stopped our queue. Who have we got behind? Tell you what, number 2. And that's this one's for Fred. Number 2. Twice a winner this year, back-to-back successes in the summer, and that was a selling handicap at Lingford in July, and then at Catterick. Goes back up in trip to a mile and 3/4 again. Longer term, I'll tell you what, if they've got this horse to click over hurdles, then for marking the 70s is well handicapped. Number 6 is Alghazaal, who struggled on the flat since joining Mark Usher. Was a chase winner for Charlie Longston earlier in the year. 10 is Destinado, who's won from 28 overall. Has to prove staying the trip. And one by one, hopefully they'll be making their way out for race 6, which is the staying handicap.
And here they are down at the start. Tell you what, in that gap, there was no talk in the studio in that gap. It was just the two Steves head down. So you've got two to make up now, Jones. Tradesman is 6-4. Grand Duchess Olga is 4-1. Buxton Real 7-1. This one's for Fred 8-1. 11-1 and bigger the rest. Nice 12-runner race over a mile 6, Steve Jones.
Yeah, Tradesman's the most likely winner, I think. No doubt about that. It's got a bit of speed, bit of pace for a stayer. There's no doubt about that. Because although Tradesman likes to come from further back than perhaps is ideal sometimes, he overcomes that because he's got that little bit of pace. He travels well and has got a finishing kick. So he's going to be dangerous, especially at this sort of lowly level where that kind of speed is not the norm by any mistake. And Tradesman likes it here as well and sees the distance out. Is 1 over 2 miles last time and 1 over a mile and 6 before that, being Team Endeavour both times, and the form sort of makes sense in that regard because he was £9, I think, worse off with the winner and still beat him next time, but not by as much. But if I was to throw in one there at a bigger price, it would be Estrella Star, who was way behind Tradesman last time, but has a good record here, 3 from 6.
Steve Mellish.
Yeah, nothing much original to say really. It's hard. I think this is a better 6-4 chance than one we had earlier in that he wins regularly. He won, last time 2 weeks ago. He can the occasional flat spot, but he's basically a strong travelling horse. 1 mile 6, 2 mile doesn't seem to make any difference. They ought to go at a reasonable pace here. I just couldn't see many against him. I mean, the second favourite is again hard to argue. Grand Duchess Olga, who's found her form since she's been stepped up in trip. I can see it. I just think the runners in Tradesman's race, I think, are of a slightly better class. I think it's a fairly strong favourite.
So what about the Wolves run?
Yeah, don't know what went wrong there. Don't know. Maybe this is more of its track. I don't know. But the last 2 times he's come here, he's been impressive. And like the run a couple of weeks ago, I think was a pretty decent race. £4 rise, I think, is the least they could have expected as well.
OK. I think we can join Nick soon enough. Just your final thoughts, Steve Jones. Just sum it up for us in a nutshell.
Well, I think Tradesman, if continues in the same vein that he's been in, is a 4-year-old with more to offer, who's got a bit of pace and is probably better than this grade, potentially.
There we go. Nick Lightfoot, all yours to the off.
Tom Stanley, thank you very much indeed. Tradesman 6-4 and clearly very strong at the top of the market. And Grand Duchess Olga, who was a 9-2 shot earlier, and a little bit shorter than that now. Estrella Star's interesting on the balance of what Estrella Star can and has done around here. 3 from 8 at Chelmsford, and he's better off with Tradesman for a 7-length defeat here when last seen back in August. But that horse, I think, is looking more and more progressive. And Estrella Star now a pound lower than the last winning mark back in December. There's a chance that on the pounds and ounces of revised terms that 7-length defeat to Tradesman could be eroded a bit, but we shall see. 1 mile and 6, and it does centre around whether Tradesman can continue that upwardly mobile profile of a stayer. Price probably factors that in, and that combined £12 for 2 wins at Chelmsford is under the test here. 13-8 about the favourite as we wait on Buxlow Boy, who will be the last. We'll go up to the commentary position with Alan.
Buxlow Boy moving in now to complete the lineup. They're off. Race here, 1 3/4 for the Betsy handicap. Raised the one was pretty well away. Destinado right up there as well, along with this one's for Fred. As I settle down, another one to show prominently, the filly Leela Cross in red and green silks. Destinado together with Alghazaal. Leela Cross raised the one, and this one's for Fred. They ought to go prominent early on as they get to the opening turn now. In green and orange, Alghazaal perhaps led narrowly there from Destinado, and this one's for Fred. Completing out the leading 4 now wider out and racing quite enthusiastically around the outside, Buxlow Boy. And Buxlow Boy now looking to get to the front and does so, has cleared them now to lead under Carl Straden. So up the home straight first time round, it's going to be Buxlow Boy that leads. From this one's for Fred, white and green of Destinado In a show for third now, with more toward the inside, Alghazaal. In that terracotta jacket, the black cap, Luazy and Luke Morris. Cheek pieces on for the first time for Luazy. Red and green next is Leela Cross. Red and yellow to the inside, Grand Duchess Olga. Then the nose-banded head of Buxted Real. The pink and green of Tradesman. Opportunity Knocks in the yellow and white with those cheek pieces on. And the three-time previous track and distance winner, Estrella Star, is at the rear of the field under Rab Havlin. They head away then out into the country. And as they do so, it is Buxlow Boy who leads. Buxlow Boy from Alghazaal racing to the inside of this one's for Fred. Raise the one and Destinado are the next two from Grand Duchess Olga. Behind Grand Duchess Olga is Buxted Real. Leela Cross just in front of those two. Then Opportunity Knocks. Tradesman more towards the inside. Estrella Star remains in the final position as they race down the back straight, and on they go towards the final 5 furlongs. That is Buxlow Boy leads by a length over this one's for Fred, who's racing along in second. Alghazaal in third, then Destinado is back in fourth. Raise the one follows that one through, then Leela Cross, and a bit wider out on the track, Luazy. Follow them more towards the inside, Grand Duchess Olga from Tradesman is still weighted with further back, alongside Buxted Real. Opportunity Knocks is still second to last. Estrella Star in the final placing as they take the turn that raids them back towards the home straight for the final time. Approaching the final 3 furlongs, and it's Buxlow Boy who's got the lead still. Have a length over this one's for Fred and Alghazaal. Destinado is poised in behind. Luazy has every chance from there, completing out the leading 5. Then Raise the one in front of Leela Cross, who's now been pushed along. Then came Grand Duchess Olga, Estrella Star and Tradesman both trying to make some ground now. The sprint's on for home, and it's Alghazaal who kicks for home first under David Pro, but Tradesman arrives on the scene in the pink silks and surely has every chance from there. Then Destinado and Grand Duchess Olga down the wide outside. Buxted Real coming into it late. It's Tradesman though with the lead, racing inside the final furlong, and will do this easily. A third win over the track here recently for Tradesman, beating Buxted Real tight for third. Grand Duchess Olga and Alghazaal. Then came the never nearer Estrella Star.
Yeah, tight for the miners in the rain here, the driving rain at Chelmsford. Connections and Tradesmen aren't going to mind. There's absolutely bolted up under Hayley Turner for David Simcock off that BHA mark of 58 and ridden with a lot of confidence and an assured nature that she was on comfortably the best horse and best horse on the terms as well. Horse who won here over 2 miles a couple of weeks ago, and it's made it a 3-timer on the bounce as well when coming here to Chelmsford. Has become a real pro here. They'll be leaving behind a mark in the 50s, you can guarantee that. 13-8 favourite and strong for Hayley Turner, and David Simcock has won. That's now 3 from the last 3, and the combined £12 for the 2 wins here over different distances hasn't stopped this horse whatsoever. The gap opened, and some of the more exposed horses who were going up and down on the spot in comparison to Hayley Turner aboard Tradesman, and that's how it proved. It's got a killer kick at the end of this, and just comfortably the best horse in the race and then some. Better races will await and higher marks, but Tradesman, who's in rampant form, guys.